Come on, please work.
Throttle cut off.
Oh, it works. It's caught in a tree. Hey guys, you just seen that little clip about the Hobby King V2 Paramotor. Let me tell you a couple of things here. Took off easy, not that bad. What you want to do is you don't want to start when you're sitting there bringing it up. You want to basically about 35% throttle. Just fill the sail and then take it and let it go. Now what you've seen really quick is basically I got it caught up in a tree. And the reason for that is the wind was mild, wasn't bad, okay, but then as it got up there, it picked up some wind. You probably hear a little bit of wind in the video. And no matter what I did, it would climb. Okay, so that's why you do not want any wind. And second of all, you see I was in that area there? It's a pretty big area, but there's trees around. Don't fly around any trees. I thought I would have good control. But if you have wind, as it gets up there, there might be some higher wind. And what happens is you're not able to turn the sails with the control arms as well left and right. And what I was trying to do, even though I was pulling down to turn away from the tree, it was going still into it, and by that time it was on the other side of the tree and I was trying to get out, and that was all bad. Now there are some corrections that you could do with that, all right? And just to let you know, I did get it back, okay? It is pretty good shape. The light bar is bent, okay? And I'm using an SMC 5200 3S pack, okay, which gave ample power with an XT60 connector, even though in the manual it says XT90. Well, no, that's not correct at all. You need an XT60 because this is an XT60 unless you have an XT60 to an XT90 connector. I don't know what the hell to tell you, but the thing is that if you don't have one, just get an XT60, and I got this from SMC, and relatively inexpensive. And I was using a Spectrum receiver, this one right here. This is the AR410, and I had that mounted into this area right there on the back. But I learned something. I learned something very important. Now on the sail, and here's the sail, and this sail was caught up in the tree, and it's not in the best of shape, and I got to get to the part right here, okay? All right, so this is where this part right here obviously is where we tie off, connect our sail to the Paramotor itself. But here is the control line, all right? This is for your brake and the steering. Now they say from this knot here, and I'm going to show you in the next video a little better, to measure down from here to about 32 and about an 1/8 or 1/16, and then tie that off onto the control arm. I was watching a guy, because I'll tell you what, it should have been turning, but it wouldn't turn, and I wasn't getting enough. I was getting enough turn. So what happened is that he had tied it off maybe about an inch and a half more down. So when you're pulling, you're going to get more pull. to turn left and right. And that hit the sweet spot for him because he had the same situation. I'll put his video up there. His name is Bushy the Bird. I don't know much about him. I think he's a small channel, but I'll put a link to the video and everything. He had the same thing. It was flying, but it wasn't turning. It wasn't turning the way it should and everything. The way they say that the amount to say they turn. So he went a little bit more and tied it off, and then it started turning really well. It hit the sweet spot. So that's what I'm going to do the next time. Very little wind. 2, wide open. Make sure there's no trees around you. Get into a field that's way wide open, okay? And if you do get wind, it will climb. Even though you're pulling down, it's still climb because wind will take over, all right? So that is some tips there. I'm gonna make another video and give you another tip, guys. When you tie these off with the zip ties, pull the zip tie from the inside here. Okay, that part there, and cut it off. That way it's a smoother surface on top, and if the strings or the wires won't get caught anywhere here or there. So they're inside here. Okay, so that's some tips. All right, so I am going to test out the pulls and see, you know, where the sweet spot is, and I'll give you a better measurement once I get that. I'm going to do that this weekend. Also, I'm using an NX transmitter, an NX8, and I set my wing type to Elevon. Okay, so that's a good tip there. And, you know, set your throttle cut and everything whatsoever, because that's all you really need. All right, and I'll give you all that information once I get this reset up. But 35% only on taking off. Max you want to do when you're up there throttling is 50%. I'm also probably going to set a throttle curve on my throttle, so I'm going to start off at 35, maybe go to 40, and then 50 at max. Okay, so when I'm hitting up my throttle over here, you know, it's going to start off at 35, and then I'm going to go up, and it's going to curve up to 40 and max if I'm all the way up at 50, so I don't go over or anything. So I did set a throttle. I'm going to set a throttle curve on that. So those are some great tips. And I hope this helps you out. And those are some things, and I will get back to you again. All right, this is Drone Man Joe. Like, subscribe. I am out. This is once again the Hobby King V2 Paramotor. Okay, thank you.